Alrighty, everyone. Happy Friday. Me and Harry with you. Unfortunately, we are missing Mac for this little short recap, but obviously some pretty big stuff went down in the Eastern Conference slash Metro wildcard race last night. We had the Capitals drop points. We had the Islanders, Penguins, and Flyers pick up points. So we've got a lot to dissect here. But Harry, I know you're chomping at the bit to talk about the Penguins. So the floor is yours. Talk about the lovely night for you, the shit show of an evening for me and Mac. Have at it.
Well, I don't know if I would say it was lovely. It certainly came with its issues. I basically had four heart attacks, three of which were caused by Eric Karlsson. So, yeah, the Pens sneak out a wild 6-5 overtime victory against the Wings. You know, two guys who get ripped on more than anybody, other than maybe Malkin, Letang and Karlsson. First goal of the game that we surrender. Letang gives up the puck. And I believe it was Raymond. He goes in and scores, ties the game 1-1, and then not even like I think 5 minutes later, Letang goes down and scores, right? Then in the third period, we're up 5-3. Karlsson just has the worst period of his career, I would argue, and is pretty much solely responsible for the Wings tying at 5-5. And then what does he do in OT? He lets it sling, and it's just a clapper right by Alex Lyon. Pens win 6-5. So that's a massive, massive win. Kind of sucks they still let the Wings get a point. Don't know if that's going to bite them in the ass because the Wings have a pretty easy schedule to end the season with compared to some other teams in the race. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, you talk about allowing the Wings to pick up a point there. I know we were discussing this in our group text, which was on fire last night. Um, same sort of thing with the Islanders. They go, have to play Montreal instead of that ending in regulation, or the Islanders only getting 1 point in the extra session, they get two. So just a lot of teams in that race picking up points last night, except for the Caps.
So like I understand that everyone's very high on the Penguins right now, and I'm trying to be a little self-aware here, but everybody thinks this is a shoo-in at this point that they're going to end up getting in because of how hot they've been. I think they're 6-0-3 entering last night or after the game, I can't remember, in their last nine. So they're on a 9-game point streak. They're playing great. The team looks confident, but they've got a ball buster of the last three games. They've got
They do.
Boston, Nashville, and the Islanders. That is far from three guaranteed wins, and they're probably going to have to go 3-0 at best. I'd say at minimum, and this is pushing it, 2-0-1, maybe an OT loss in there. But
You
yeah, I
you are at that point though now where if you're the Caps, if you're the Red Wings, if you're the Penguins, you're saying that we basically have to win out here, or we have to get points in every single game pretty much if we want a fighting chance. I mean, you win out, like you said, the Penguins are in right now, they control their destiny, so win out and they should be fine. I think the big thing here is the Islanders are now 3 points clear of the Penguins for that third spot in the Metro, and I think that that's pretty much enough to push them out there and be done with it.
Yeah, it certainly feels like the Islanders are gonna have that Metro 3 on lock, and they'll take on, I think, Carolina's too. Um, the only way that would change is if the Islanders do end up losing a game before the last of the season and the Penguins win out. That
Right.
that could change something. We'll pull up the Islanders schedule here in a second, but yeah, I just want to give one last shout out. I mean, Sidney Crosby, what is going on, man? This is insane what this guy's doing. 3-point night, scores a huge goal, go ahead goal, two assists, 1,000 assists in his career, the 14th player ever to do it. He also simultaneously gets top 10 all time in scoring. So just an enormous night for Sid. I don't even know how all that's possible, but
It's
just
crazy. I mean, he's willing that team into the playoffs right now.
yeah, our buddy Singsy, he was on Twitter and he was tweeting at me. He's like, if this guy's on a mission and he's not going to be stopped, like the Penguins are in, not as confident because there are other people on the team who have some brain fog at times, we'll say.
The nice way
But
to put it.
yeah, it's gonna be a fun finish. So just to look at the remaining schedule for each of the teams, Nick, the one team I don't have up real quick is the Islanders. I don't know if you have them readily
I
available.
I can.
You can. We'll look at Red Wings first. So they've got the Leafs on Saturday, and then they have a home and home with the Habs on Monday and Tuesday. So say what you will about Montreal. They obviously haven't been good this year, but We said this on the last podcast. If you haven't listened, you should. They're a team who's got a lot of young guys who are trying to make a name for themselves. Slavkovsky's, or however the fuck you say it, has played great lately. He had a hat trick the other night, first career. So they can maybe play spoiler. That game against the Leafs, our buddy TJ Kretz, fellow listener of the pod, he tweeted at me and said this. He goes, Matthews is scoring 70 in that game. Don't even blink on it. Like he's gonna get two. You can take it to the bank. I was like, I actually kind of like
Probably.
that. So we'll see what goes down for the Wings. You want to read the aisles?
Yep. So the Islanders, they have to go on the road into MSG Saturday. So tomorrow at 12:30, that's going to be nationally televised on ABC. So I'm sure all eyes will be on that game. Then they have to go into New Jersey on Monday, and then they are home against the Penguins to close it out on the 17th.
So not a cakewalk, especially since the Islanders just beat the Rangers, and the Rangers are still trying to lock up that one seed. Um, so let's see what happens tomorrow at MSG. I'm not sure,
Yeah,
but
and I mean, I don't think you can overlook the game against the Devils either. I know the Devils are done. I know Jack Hughes is done for the year with that shoulder surgery, but those two teams fucking hate each other. So
yeah,
it's going to get nasty.
yeah, no, absolutely. For your Washington Capitals, an enormous game against the Tampa Bay Lightning tomorrow night at home, Saturday, then Monday at home against the Bruins, and then they end the season on Tuesday in Philly.
The back to back, man. It's just as if playing Tampa and Boston wasn't already a difficult enough challenge in the final three games of the year. They stick the Caps with a back to back. It's classic. Just every year, man. They get
Are
shafted.
you pronouncing the Capitals dead?
No, I'm pronouncing that their schedule is continually like screwing them, but
Okay. There's
yeah,
still a chance. We're holding the hope.
absolutely still a chance. And, the Caps have done things against Tampa and Boston in the past, so certainly not overlooking them.
So I would imagine, I know Lindgren's been starting almost every single game. I think Kemper got a start the other night on a back-to-back, if I'm not
You did.
mistaken. So what do you do in the case of those last two games, Boston and Philly? You got back-to-back. Do you run Chucky on both? Do you let Kemper play one?
I honestly asking your guy, Chucky, basically, to go back to back to close out an 82 game season with how many hockey games he's played, in the stretch basically since the new year is a pretty tall order. I mean, that's a big ask for that kind of guy. So I don't know what you do. I mean, maybe you see where you are after this. It's Boston up next, right?
No, Tampa tomorrow, then
Tampa
Boston.
tomorrow. So I
Yeah.
think you see where you are after that next game, and you kind of go, okay, are we in a playoff position? Maybe we go with Darcy, but I wouldn't want to be in that position to make that call. That's for sure.
I know the Pens just did that with Nedeljkovic the other game. I can't remember the back-to-back opponents, but Jari had that bug that was going around the locker room,
Yep.
so they had to do that. But we're gonna move on to Philly. They go into MSG losing, I think it was eight in a row. Don't quote me on that. Maybe it was nine, but I'm pretty sure it was eight, and they just stunned the Rangers 4-1 in a masterclass torts type of game.
Yep.
Just suffocated them, played really well. So now they have two games left. They're the one team chasing the wild card who has 80 games played instead of 79. They have New Jersey at home tomorrow, Saturday, and then they polish off their season on Tuesday against the Caps. We just talked about that. I think that game lost is really going to hurt them. I don't foresee them making the playoffs. I mean, I know that's not a hot take, but
No, and I agree. What scares me is the fact that they play Saturday and then have Sunday and Monday to basically prep for this do or die Caps game on that Tuesday.
I would not be shocked if they win those last two games and they end the
Me
season on a
neither.
three game
Especially the
heater.
Caps going into Philly. That's a tough one for sure.
So we'll see how that shakes out. I know Torts will have the boys ready, or at least you would imagine. So that game against Jersey, that's going to be tricky, but we'll
Yeah.
see how it shapes out. So yeah, the standings, they're tight right now. Pens currently hold the playoff spot as we're recording this on Friday, April 12th. And then you've got the Caps, Wings, and Flyers all with 85 points. Pens have 86, and the Islanders have 89. It's gonna be a wild finish.
The most frustrating part about this is none of these teams play again until tomorrow.
I know. It's like, what are we supposed to do tonight? And
Right.
yeah, so it's gonna be a fun finish to the season. I'm hoping my Penguins hold on. Nick's hoping that they slip off. So it's gonna be a fun finish. Go check out the latest podcast if you haven't already. The link
Yep.
should be in our bio. So appreciate you all listening. It's gonna be a fun finish for the Eastern Conference wild card.